Hi, I'm Daniela Cambone, joined today by Keith Neumeyer, CEO and founder of First Majestic Silver. Keith, always good to be with you to catch up, get the latest from the quarterly report, and of course to talk silver prices, a lot of renewed excitement. Good to see you.
And great seeing you again, Daniela. It's my first interview of 2023, and I have not spoken for a few months.
Well, I'm sure you're happy with what you're seeing in the precious metal space. We're gonna talk about all that, and I also want folks to stay tuned to the end of this interview because I know everyone loves your silver giveaway. First Majestic is giving away another 10-ounce silver coin, but you got to stay tuned till the end of the video to find out how to win. The rules changed a little bit, so you definitely want to stay tuned. But most importantly, Keith, let's start. And I want to say congratulations because it's another record year of production for the company. But this is the company's 6th consecutive record year in a row now, excluding 4 shutdowns during the pandemic. So what's behind the increase in production? I mean, I see that Santa Elena was a major contributor with 9.1 million silver equivalent ounces of production, basically an 81% increase year over year. So how did operations fare?
I'm surprised with the number you said, 6th in a row. I would have thought it would be much greater than that because we're actually our 20th year in business. I remember when we first, in 2004, when we turned on our first mine, we produced 25,000 ounces of silver that year. This past year, 2022, I think we're around 35 million silver equivalent ounces. So it's a lot of growth over 20-year period. We're super proud of the team and the assets. So we got 3 assets in Mexico. The newest asset, the Nevada, the Jerritt Canyon asset, and yes, we did have another record year. There's challenges, of course. 2022. It's every year. There's always the challenges that come into the business. It is mining. We're dealing with Mother Nature, and but we're Santa Elena, Sean. It was a big producer for us that really carried the rest of the business. I think in 2023, I think we're going to have another record year as well.
Well, that's what I'm seeing by the numbers, that you are on track to hit another record year. What do you think is driving this? Any insights?
Well, Santa Elena last year, it produced more than we actually predicted. We predicted 7.5 million silver equivalent ounces out of Santa Elena in 2022. We lo and behold produced 9.5 million ounces or close to that. And a lot of that's gold. We are producing more gold than we have any time in the company's history, which is not a bad thing. Gold has actually outperformed silver until just the recent couple of weeks. But 2022 was a pretty strong year for gold, so it was nice to have some gold in our portfolio. But Santa Elena is really the big driver for us, and we hope 2023 Jerritt Canyon will be our big driver.
Well, you just mentioned a really good point, and if you don't mind, elaborating a little bit on this, because it's definitely a trend that we're seeing. Silver companies almost transitioning into becoming gold producers. And you mentioned First Majestic is as well. As in 2023, 40% of your production is in silver ounces and 60% in gold ounces. So what's the plan here? What does it say about the state of the mining landscape? Why the transition?
Well, it's not purposely. We didn't do it on purpose, but it's just we're trying to grow the business. We're trying to get bigger. We also want to diversify the portfolio. We are all in Mexico. We've been in Mexico since I formed the business back in 2004. So we made our first investment outside of Mexico in the state of Nevada just 18 months ago, and I think it was the right move. I would have loved to found a great silver mine in Nevada, but what they should be telling investors is that silver is just simply a lot rarer than people imagine. We could fill our portfolio up right now with a number of gold mines. I know a handful of gold mines we can go buy tomorrow, and we could be producing 90% of our revenue in gold. But I want silver, and then I'm a bull on silver. I put this company together. Around silver, we're actively pursuing a number of assets, in the silver space, but they're few and far between. And growing the business, we were kind of we decided to, buy this mine, Jerritt Canyon in Nevada, and then other mining companies run into the same issue.
it's interesting that you say that, because I've known you a really long time, and I know that's kind of the myths that you're always looking to debunk, because people just think, well, there's such an abundance of silver. I mean, we even see certain reports coming out showing there's no shortage of silver, and you're always the first to say, not so.
And I've heard those arguments. I've heard people on your show, and yeah, I don't get it, because with the mining sector, I don't know exact numbers yet for 2022. We'll see them shorting, because the Silver Institute will publish those numbers in April and May. But I'm guessing the mining sector produced something in the order of 825 million ounces of silver in 2022. Consumption numbers look like they're somewhere between 1.2 and 1.4 billion ounces, and that's due to, all the great technologies, all the newfangled gadgets that we're consuming, electric vehicles, solar panels, windmills, you name it. All these technologies require silver. So, you're in a market where we're consuming between 1.2 and 1.4 billion ounces silver a year. The miners are only producing somewhere around 800 million ounces. Yeah, that's a pretty big deficit. And, projections for 2023 are somewhere, the miners aren't likely going to produce much more. The miners are pretty well at their limit. There's no, major discoveries going on. And the margins aren't particularly great, with inflation, energy costs, and, everything else, going up, and labor costs as well. The miners are doing okay, but, it's not like we're spinning off gazillions of dollars where we can, reinvest into the ground. And also with ESG and governments, attacking the mining sector, it's becoming harder and harder, to become a mining company. So, for us to actually ramp up our production, it's not that simple, right? But yet, industry is consuming more and more, and this deficit is increasing. I just think it's a crazy world we're living in. And
all very valid, obstacles. And adding to that, I think this is a perfect time to get your take on inflation. Yes, we know the Fed has been active in fighting inflation. They've managed to cool it. Whether you believe the numbers or not are a different conversation. But inflation still remains high, and I want to get your thoughts as how you're dealing with it as a mining operator.
Yeah, we're always looking for new supply chains. Coal has been a real issue because, the Jerritt Canyon operation does use coal for the heating of its big furnace. So getting coal supply in Nevada has been a bit of a challenge. Cyanide supply, cyanide is a byproduct of oil, and with oil prices and the restrictions on oil in the U.S., cyanide prices have also gone up, about 50% over the last, 12 or 18 months. Ammonia prices, lubricants, we're seeing it right across the board. And, we're having, unfortunately, to lay off people. And, we've laid off, I don't know exactly the number, probably over 300 people, in the last 6 months, just trying to attack, our costs. And it's never a nice place to be. But, 20 years into this business, it's not like we've not seen challenges historically. We've seen many, many challenges, and we're reacting as we should. But the nice thing is that, we've got gold at close to all-time highs. We've got silver at a reasonable price. It's still dirt cheap as far as I'm concerned, but, we're still doing okay at $24 silver and, $1,900 gold.
And I want to talk price more with you, but first, here's something else that will bring a smile to the folks back home, to our silver confidants. Your silver bullion store, and I want to get these numbers right because I read them twice, sold a record close to 400, let's say 50,000 ounces of silver bullion last year at an average price of $26.20 for total revenues of almost $12 million. That's amazing. I mean, there's a revenue stream that you didn't have before. How's that changed things for you? And what are future plans with the bullion store?
Well, we started that back in 2010. It was really done as really just a service to our shareholders who, were asking for, silver in small quantities. And over the years, that business has grown, into, what it is today. You're right. That almost 12 million in revenue in 2022. If you look at 2021, we did just shy of 6 million in revenue. So it was a double. And, in 2020, we did about 3.5 million in revenue. So it's grown consistently, and we've got a fairly interesting announcement coming up in the next couple of months in this whole space. We're looking actually to even double the revenue from current levels, and we have some exciting news.
That's very, very cool. Finally, one thing I do need to address is the elephant in the room. Let's talk share price here. I want to get your thoughts on what's behind the recent weakness. Looking at the price, the stock is basically the same price with silver at 24 as it was at 18 just 4 months ago. What's going on with the share price, Keith?
Yeah, it's usually reacts a little bit better. We have seen a pretty significant move in silver, which is nice to see, of course. So our revenues are improving, our profitability, of course, is improving. And I think there's a lot of focus on Jerritt Canyon. Jerritt Canyon is a high cost gold producer, 100% gold in northern Nevada. The winter storms there, I'm not sure if you've heard from other guests that you've had on, but we on the West Coast, we're in Vancouver here, and the entire West Coast of North America this winter has been devastated with quite heavy snowfalls, very, very cold weather. And we had, just a very, very tough time at Jerritt Canyon in November, December, dealing with these cold conditions. And, the people, down there told me that, and they take pictures, of course, and, send me these pictures because, I always wanted to see what the heck is going on. And they've got 140% more snow right now than they do on an average basis. And this snowstorm, and it's still there. It's still quite cold. It got down to minus 30 degrees, which is, unheard of. And snow drifts of, 9, 10, 12 feet high. And it's just nightmare. So, of course, this is our cost. Your production drops because you can't move the ore. Everything freezes. Pipes freeze up. All those types of things. So, your production drops, and your costs are the same. Because you can't your fixed costs are there.
Yeah.
So of course, investors see that and they get concerned, and I think that affects the share price. But look, we're expert miners. We know what we're doing. We're gonna turn this thing around. We're very excited about what we're doing at Jerritt Canyon.
As you're listing all those things, I kept thinking, I can't imagine what goes through your head at night. I mean, are you able to sleep?
Well, the thing that bugs me the most is probably metal prices, but because they're, at least if the mill freezes up, it teaches us something, right? It teaches, okay, like what can we do next year? We can actually make sure those pipes don't freeze by putting electricity, sensors on those pipes, and we'll keep them warm during winter. And there's things we can do. There's engineering techniques that can be done to manage bad weather. It's not like we're the only mine that's affected by that, bad weather. But what we don't impact is silver prices or gold prices, and that's really what drives you crazy.
Well, do we were talking offline, saying you were just at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. They had tremendous turnout. Hopefully PDAC will be the same. I mean, there seems, it feels different to me, this market, right? I don't know if you would agree, but at least the gold market feels differently. And as we know, silver tends to follow gold. But do you not feel there's a renewed energy as we start this year? Obviously, there's some good price action happening in the precious metals.
Yeah, the VR conference is currently on in Vancouver. It's and it's usually, at least historically over the last 4 or 5 years, it's been a sleepy conference. It's and not a lot of people fly to Vancouver to go to a mining conference. It's unless it's some special event. But I suppose. But I was blown away. I went in there on Sunday. And not only was their demographics much younger than I've seen historically, because often you see a much older demographics, have been, buying metals for, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they know the sector very well. And now we're seeing new blood coming into the sector, gold almost reaching all-time highs. Silver's not too that bad. It's dragging, or it's a little bit behind gold, but nevertheless, with all the things happening in the world, inflation, Ukraine, and governments gobbling up gold, I think people are just looking at the sectors. Hey,
that's right.
Is this
a record central bank buying?
2002? Yep.
That's right.
Like, is this 2001, 2002 all over again? I think it is.
Who knows? Hopefully so, Keith. And now for the moment, everyone was probably waiting for how to win First Majestic's a 10-ounce silver coin. I don't want to mess this up. So let me read it perfectly here. So
the rules are
so
better.
The rules are better.
No.
I don't know who we have to thank for that, but the rules are a little easier. So it no longer needs to be the exact spot price. They will give away to the closest guess. But if more than one person has the same price, the person who enters the guess first wins. So don't wait to enter. How do you enter? Well, you got to comment on First Majestic's YouTube page on this video no later than February 13th. Closest guess to the silver closing price on February 28th wins. So there you go. Closest closing price. Doesn't have to be to the penny.
So it doesn't matter if it's above or below. It doesn't matter. But
there you go.
Or just closest. That's much better. Yeah.
So good luck to everyone. Keith, thank you so much. And I'll see you in Florida at the Gold Stock Analyst Day. So looking forward to seeing you in person.
Or two as well. Thank you.
And thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.